Welcome everyone to the AMA with Tectum. This is Diana here. And guys, we have a wonderful show tonight. We have wonderful speakers from Tectum team that you've been all waiting for. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Allow me to introduce right away the people you've been all asking about for quite a while, who you definitely all missed. Our CEO Russell is finally on the AMA with us. Hey, Russell, how's it going? Hey, Russell, are you with us? You might have muted your mic, Russell. Can you please double check that?
Hi Diana, no, doing well. It said I was muted by the host, but I'm back in. So yeah, going very well on my side. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you. We also have Trevor, our COO, with us. Trevor, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Diana. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you all right. We can hear you all right, Trevor. Please, guys, take the floor, lead on the discussion. We'll be here if you need us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. All right, folks, well, welcome to our weekly Tectum AMA. It is great to be back. I have been absent there for a little while, and I am going to address that as I continue to speak here. But look, it's been a roller coaster of a ride for the last couple of months. We did set out for an ambitious plan when it comes to Tectum going public with the SDK that we wanted to deliver. Now, as we set on for that task, we realized that it became somewhat of a whirlwind to try and just get, to do the whole task really. The more that we started talking with the devs and diving into it deeper and deeper, the more we realized that it is a very ambitious task. We know the Tectum blockchain there, we have proven that it is the world's fastest blockchain by far. We know that that is because of the unique architecture, but the unique architecture there did present some challenges along the way. Now, bearing in mind, when Ethereum and other blockchains set out the task of SDKs for the public to build on top of there, they had very, very similar challenges. They had to do a lot of updates on the node and so on and so forth, so it is pretty standard in the space. Now, because it has led us down the path, myself and Russell there, we have really taken on the responsibility there of a more technical role and getting, rolling up our hands and our sleeves and diving into the technical side of things. I do realize that the marketing side of things there have been left a little bit to the wayside there. So in order to help balance the entire scenario, we will be more, focusing more on the technical side for pretty much from this point onwards, and that there's led to a couple of changes amongst the inner circle there that we are going to announce and address. But that's basically what has been happening over the last couple of months there. It has been extremely busy there. We have, we've had a couple of stumbling blocks along the way, and those stumbling blocks have led to just rolling up our sleeves there and accepting the challenge. And we are going to roll out, we are going to go public, we are going to have an SDK, we are going to allow our community to build on top of our blockchain. And of course, the idea for this is to incentivize people there to build DEXs, liquidity lending platforms, dApps, NFT programs, all these kinds of things that we do see on any other blockchain, and to have the interoperability for other blockchains to mix in as well. So it is ambitious, and we are, as I say there, we are going to, well, myself there, go down more onto the technical side of things there, and leave a lot of the marketing side and the presenting side to hand that down to other staff and members. So what I'll do is I'll hand it over to Russell for for his update, and then we'll open it up for any questions once we get later on onto the show. So that's the latest update from myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Trevor. And just to reiterate what Trevor spoke about, of course, the community is our biggest concern, and the community and the wider retail market is the reason why we're doing this. So we wanted to give everybody an overview of what's transpired over the last few months. So when we went live with the Tectum token, our intention always was to build out the fastest, most interoperable and viable ecosystem on a layer one. Of course, we had a focus on scaling Bitcoin through the soft nodes, and we really believed that that would be our first product to penetrate the market, and then build out an equivalent of Solana, Ethereum, but with all the scalability of having a much faster blockchain. However, when we launched the token, we knew that at some point we were going to have to build out the SDK or the API to the RPC node, as some may refer to it. Now, that is a major task, and if you have a look through the history of what Ethereum have done, and most EVM blockchains have just taken their API, so they haven't had to rebuild that. And also what Solana have done with staff teams of over 300, they've taken over 2 years to build out their RPC and API. So we decided to allow the project to get to some form of maturity, to build up a community so it could sustain this period of development, and then after that, enter into building out the APIs. So that was in about February when we did our live TPS test, where we managed to hit 3.5 million transactions per second. Thereon forward, Trevor and myself took much more of a hands-on role with the technological implementation of this SDK. Now, as Trevor rightly alluded to, it became a much larger task than we originally had presumed, and that's on the basis of the fact that the Tectum architecture for our blockchain has 3 levels. Now, if you evaluate how nodes work on Ethereum or how they work on Solana, you just have the top level or one individual level, and then the API calls can go directly to that level, and then you just have a variance of calls. Due to the fact that we run something similar to a directed acyclical graph, this means you essentially have to write 3 times the amount of API calls. So that meant we were working up to 20 hours per day and really focusing on ensuring that once the API is ready for community developers and the public, it is functioning to standard whereby you can write to all 3 layers of the blockchain. Within this time period, as we've alluded to in the Telegram and on Twitter, we've actually been working with some pretty large Web2 partners, many of which we haven't been able to talk about publicly because they also rely upon the API fully functioning. But suffice it to say, that has consumed a lot of our time. Now, based on feedback from the community, and understandably so, it's come to our awareness that unfortunately the marketing side has dropped off over the last few months. And although this is a great concern of ours, because we know that the utility of this project is absolutely imperative in order to build out everything that we intended to build out from launch, we had to stay focused on that particular task. Now, as things have come closer towards the climax, or the point at which we have a viable API and SDK to enable people to test with, we've been able to reevaluate our approach as it pertains to marketing and as it pertains to the technological elements of continuing to build out the Tectum dream, for lack of a better term. And as Trevor pointed out, we've come to the conclusion that the technological side will continue to require as much of our attention as possible. Now, the reason for that is the Tectum vision is a quite expansive one, but it has to be replicated from a technological perspective. We've seen hundreds of layer ones talk about a vision that they intend to implement, and the CEOs or the representatives of the company, being very marketing oriented, were able to sell that vision to the community, but they weren't able to implement it from a technological perspective. And that's the most essential gap we want to ensure that we're transversing as we continue to build Tectum. So after a lot of deliberation, we focused on ensuring that this would never take place again, so that we'd always have the right amount of staff to cover the marketing side of the project. But those staff members had to also, to a certain degree, understand the tech, so there wasn't that chasm between the two departments. Now, as you may or may well know, depending on how long you've been following the project, the gentleman called David and gentleman called Mark have been heading up our mass adoption side of things. So, of course, Tectum relies on its layer one infrastructure, it relies on its community, and it relies on its API. But to ensure that API is utilized for real world adoption, mass adoption, and ensuring that we can get into Web 2 environments are absolutely essential. And for, let's say, over 4 years, that's been the domain of David, Mark, and a big team behind them. And because they have a great emphasis on marketing, and they also have a great emphasis on seeing this vision to fruition with the general Web 2 population, we came to the conclusion that they would be perfectly suited to handle much more of the marketing elements, as Trevor and myself focus more on the tech elements. So after a lot of elaboration on who would hold what roles, we came to the conclusion that David Track would be best suited to take on a CEO role, to represent the company publicly, to represent the company from a marketing perspective, and ensure that we're getting the exposure to the Web3, but also the Web2 markets. And also Mark Ross, who some of you are very familiar with, but has been a strong advocate of the project and really a huge influence on everything that's happened at Tectum, will head up mass adoption and that department. And mass adoption entails getting out to retailers, entails getting out to B2B customers, and also much of what I spoke about as it pertains to cross-border remittance companies, whereby we see one of the best utilities of Tectum being. So to explain exactly how that's going to work functionally, I am going to take the role of CTO. That means, of course, I will continue to communicate with the community. I mean, I've got a great fondness for this community, and I'll continue to give updates to the community, but there'll be much more from a technological perspective. Trevor's going to continue as COO, but just as has been the case over the last 3 months, his focus is going to be on the technological side of things, ensuring that we fulfill this vision, not just from a visual perspective, but from a structural perspective. David's coming on as CEO. He previously held a position as president, so he's played much of that role in the past. And as I stated, Mark is going to head up much of what we do from a mass adoption perspective. So we will definitely be taking your questions on this transition. We will also be answering any questions in the Telegram. But suffice it to say, we want to ensure, regardless of what technological structures we implement in the future, regardless of what changes need to take place from a structural perspective, we always have the bases of the software element and the marketing element covered, so that we constantly have a thriving community, we constantly have new developers joining the project, and we constantly get more and more adoption to the different utilities that we're building out. So I'd like to invite David to give us a little bit of an overview as to his focus, his vision, and Mark likewise, because they have some very interesting perspectives as to how we're going to obtain mass adoption with the technology that we've built. David, can you hear me?
I think David's having a little bit of trouble coming on, folks. This is Mark Ross, and I can go ahead and get started, and hopefully David can join in. Yeah, for some reason he's having some technical difficulties with the speaker. But so let me just kind of introduce myself. I've been involved with cryptocurrency since about 2015, and I have been an entrepreneur. I have worked full time, pretty much for myself, for about 25 years, and my vision of Tectum came about as a result of being introduced to Alex. Alex Gusev was introduced to me through Andrew, who at the time was in technical support. And what had happened was I discovered this actually through David Track. David Track introduced me to Tectum. And at the time, Tectum was just saying they're the fastest blockchain in the world, which attracted me. I thought, okay, not a lot of companies say that. There's some that do. And when I got involved, I just decided at the time, I'm a risk taker. They were in a pre-sale, and I decided to buy 1,500 tokens. And I thought, let's see what happens. Well, I had a little bit of a technical issue, and Andrew saw in my profile on Telegram that I was a YouTube influencer as well. So I've done a lot of YouTube stuff. And he decided he wanted to introduce me to Andrew. And I said, yeah, why not? So or not Andrew, but Alex. And so when he introduced me to Alex, we got on, and what Alex explained to me absolutely blew me away. I'd never heard anything like it. And this was in March of 2022. And he told me about the soft note. And I was utterly just dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. I hadn't heard anything like it. And I still to this day have heard absolutely nothing like this product, the soft note. I've never heard anything like it in the market. And that's what attracted me in the beginning. And so he wanted to bring me on at the time as head of sales because we were in a pre-sale. And that was an exciting opportunity for me. So what me and David did is we got together and we started to just get the word out. It was like a grassroots effort. Not lots of fancy internet marketing, just word of mouth. And we started telling people about this project. And just as a result, here's what's kind of amazing if you look back. If you were to go to like a monthly chart, for those of you that know when you're looking at price charts, if you look at like March of 2022 and you go to a monthly chart, you can see that the market is in a decline from there until about, I would say, December of 2022. And so during that time, we actually, in a grassroots effort, we put together a group of probably about 1,500 people, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 people, which I know in crypto is not a lot, but when you're starting from where we were at that time to where we are now, it was a huge feat, especially with the market, the way it was going. And so we put together that team, just holding Zooms, getting people in through the pre-sale. People got really excited. It was just people telling people. And what they were excited about is the vision that we have of this soft note product. And that's actually what I want to share with you guys. I want to ask you guys a question. You know, you members that are on this call, and those of you listening to the recording whenever you finally get this, why are you here? What brought you to Tectum? You know, what got you excited? Yes, Tectum claims to be the fastest blockchain in the world, and that's impressive. And Russell and Trevor have been able to show you guys that through, you know, some examples on YouTube and things like that. But the real reason that I'm going to tell you, maybe I can help you answer that question if you haven't answered it already. What attracted me is the soft note. Why? Because of the problem with blockchain. See, blockchain is this incredible trustless environment that people are so attracted to. When Bitcoin came out, who would have known that there would be literally thousands and thousands of other cryptocurrencies that are out there? And today, you look at the market, and still it has been unable to really cross that retail boundary. And let me tell you, I truly believe this, that unless cryptocurrency crosses that retail boundary and becomes a practical way for, you know, for people to go into stores and buy milk and eggs and buy anything that you want to buy with crypto, I don't believe it's really going to reach that mass adoption. See, Bitcoin was created in the first place to be a cryptocurrency, right? That's the reason it was here. And so when the inventor of Bitcoin brought it out, his goal was, you know, I mean, you hear stories, right? People bought pizzas and bought things with Bitcoin back when it first came out. And that was the whole purpose of it, is this decentralized currency that anyone in the world could use. But the problems came about with processing times, networking fees, you know, all these issues as Bitcoin grows. And no one up to this point has been able to get that across that retail boundary that can actually bring it to the masses. And that's what the soft note does. Okay, that's what I want you guys to focus on when you think about it. And I want all the members to really be getting into your back offices and start minting and providing liquidity to your own soft notes, because communities are important, right? I mean, what really grows a project? More than anything, it's the community. We're here to help. We're here to help you, and you're here to help us. And without you, we can't grow. And I think that's the most important thing, is for people to be getting into the back office and actually minting soft notes, providing liquidity to those soft notes. Because what does a soft note do? It actually enables Bitcoin not only to be faster and cheaper, but free and instant, as well as anonymous. It is the essence of what crypto was created in the first place. And my goal, I want to tell you guys, as head of mass adoption, and we've only got so much time to go into it, and we're going to go into so much more as the weeks progress. But my goal and my vision as head of mass adoption is to one, really help spread that vision for people to see the vision of what the soft note really is and why it needs to get out into the marketplace. Because folks, we are an infant today. I mean, if you look at our market cap, we are so nothing compared to what we will be. I think, what are we at, about a $60 million market cap right now? Something like that. And so that is such a small market cap right now. It's an infant in this marketplace. And you look at a 1.2 plus trillion dollar market cap in Bitcoin. Why do I believe that that the soft note and Tectum can actually transcend Bitcoin? Why? Because when you look at other projects, what other projects are doing is they're trying to be a competitive place in the market. They're trying to actually be, hey, look at our crypto. We're better than Bitcoin. We're better than Ethereum. We're this, we're that. No, what Tectum is doing that I have never seen another company do is they're complementing the industry. They're actually bringing a fintech product, a tool, to the marketplace that's actually going to complement all of crypto, not just Bitcoin. We can actually, do you realize what the soft note does? It can actually enable all of cryptocurrency to be free and instant and anonymous through the soft note. We want to make it so that you can go into the store and purchase anything with any merchant that's actually accepting and setting up a Tectum merchant that is willing to accept Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency. And that's the whole essence of mass adoption. And my goal, my vision is to help make that happen. One, to actually express that vision, but two, to get in. And this is something I've never been as much a part of in the past, is the technical side, but I'm working firsthand now with the devs in the back office to also make the back office more user friendly, to make that interface so that people can go in, they can see tutorials, we can make every aspect of that back office user friendly so that you can come in and you can start minting soft notes, providing liquidity, and really participating in spreading this vision to the crypto community. Okay, that's the whole purpose, and that's why I'm here. So I really appreciate you guys bringing me on. I did take a hiatus, I will say. If you look at, it's amazing. I could say in December of 2022, it's unbelievable where this company has gone since then, because that's pretty much when I had to shift focus in my life, because the crypto market as a whole was really down, and so I had to actually move into some other things as an entrepreneur and to get through that market to where we're at. But if you look at from December of 22 to today, you can see that on a monthly chart we're headed up. I mean, we're headed back, and that's bringing me back into the fold. I really appreciate you bringing me on, Russell, to share that vision. And we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm really excited about where this is headed. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for that, Mark. And as soon as we get a chance, we'll reintroduce David. It looks like he's still having technological issues. So before I hand back to Trevor, just to give you an overview of what we've been working on from a technological perspective in relation to business partners. So we're currently working with cross-border remittance companies. We are hoping we'll be able to announce some partnerships relatively soon, but we're getting incredibly good traction with some of the major cross-border remittance businesses that see the soft note and Bitcoin transacting as a trustless layer 2 as the only potential solution to deal with the issues of the SWIFT fees. Now, that's a narrative that we've spoken about for quite a while. However, unfortunately, it has taken a while to get the attention of these legacy Web2 businesses. As many of you may be aware, Santander recently started using the Lightning Network. But as we've seen in the past, whenever any major corporation or government has tried to adopt the Lightning Network, it's never transpired to full functionality, and that's what we're seeing with Santander. But at least that demonstrates inroads from these major Web2 corporations wanting to utilize Bitcoin or a layer 2 version thereof to deal with Swift fees and Swift latency issues. We are also continuing to work with bringing out a Visa card and MasterCard that will enable people to spend their soft notes and spend their crypto. And we're getting much closer to having a launch date for that. So as soon as we've got that, we will be announcing that to the community as well. Now, as I stated, due to the fact that we have had a certain amount of silence as it pertains to myself and Trevor over the last few months, we wanted to ensure that we were addressing any questions. So if anybody has any questions, do post them in the comments on this AMA post on Twitter. And then if not, we will be joining the Telegram shortly after this to answer any pertinent questions that you may have. These questions can cover anything from the tech, the future, the vision, David and Mark's new positions, and also, of course, how we're going to be addressing marketing here on forward. But Trevor, are there any particular questions that you've seen within the comments or anything you'd like to address?
Yeah, let me check now. There's actually hi Mark, welcome back.
Hey brother.
Congratulations on the new role. And then just general chit chat. After that, Mr. Live, love it guys, great to see you back, Mark. We will talk. Nice seeing all the team back there. So in general, I think people are just excited that we're going to get the ball going again.
Absolutely.
But yeah, look, from my side, we are in a very exciting time right now. We are 2 months past the halving event. That is the key, I believe, to the markets. We go through these 4-year cycles, and obviously the ETF news from the Bitcoin ETF news was absolutely huge. We're now starting to see what we thought was going to play out, which is a lot of competition between one another there with layer 2 scaling solutions, and we want to be at that front. Not only that, we also want to have the most decentralized way of transacting with Bitcoin for the lesser known countries. We are going to continue that, and the markets are really starting to turn around there. Like Bitcoin went on a very big run even before the halving event, and the rest are kind of following suit. But you're going to see a lot happening over the next year or so. It looks as though Ethereum are going to get some good news with the ETFs, possibly even Solana. So we're starting to see a knock-on effect on that. And that is going to help with a lot of the mass adoption. That is where the legacy systems can now start throwing their hand into the game, and they're going to be big players into this bull run when it comes to the mass adoption side, and we definitely want to be there. And as Russell says, we're going to continue onto the technical side of things there and make sure that we have everything addressed there. We have every I dotted, every T crossed, while we leave more of the marketing side onto David and Mark. They've shown in the past how good they are with the marketing side, with the image, and how they present the product there. So it is going to be a very exciting time overall there. But we are going to work as in unison there and really drive everything home there. And look, think of what we've done in the last 12 months there. It's actually very close. We're a couple of days away from the year anniversary, I guess, from the token launch. So it's been an absolute roller coaster of a ride in the last couple of years in general there, but even in the last 12 months there, a lot has absolutely happened there. And we're just going to keep doing what we do there, keep building, keep moving forward there. And the more you build, when you build it, people will come and people will use it there. So that's my update from my side.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I may say one last thing, I want to really kind of make it simple for people. And I'm really hoping that Dave can join us because I can see him there. Dave, I think you just got to push your unmute button. But let me say something really quick because I just want to, I know I said a lot earlier and I don't want to overwhelm you, and I'm a little overwhelmed, to be honest. It's been a long time. But imagine what Tectum can be, being the first company to make Bitcoin and all of crypto for that matter, but especially Bitcoin, free, instant, and even as private as cash, untraceable, bypassing the blockchain, right? The challenges of the blockchain, and yet having the same use of that blockchain security and trust. And I just want that to kind of be your vision. If you could just write that out, like literally, that's my vision. And that's what I want to express to you guys. I'm so excited to be here and looking forward to the future. Dave, are you with us yet? Are you able to come on? Boy, I wish we could have David on. Love having Dave.
All right, we have got, am I muted?
No, you're good.
All right, we have got a few other questions there. So, any idea if we'll see new soft notes anytime soon? Solana catched a fair bit of the markets, but itself isn't really spendable.
Correct.
Too low 2PS speed. Any news on ETH notes?
It's a great question. I think we start with Bitcoin. I mean, obviously, Russell, what do you have to say about the ETH notes?
Yeah, absolutely. So as everybody knows, we've had problems with ensuring that the ETH node is as fluent as possible. We don't want people to have to pay the same amount of fees. So we've up until now been running a modified ETH node. Now we should have that ETH node fully functional within the next couple of weeks, but we've also been working on a Solana node. Our intention is to implement Solana soft notes and then other tokens that run on the Solana ecosystem. And the question, or the person who posed that question, is completely right. Solana has the most growing amount of volume at the moment. So because the Tectum blockchain enables any other blockchain that utilizes private keys and public keys to be able to be scaled to a point of having a trustless form of transacting, and of course at 3.5 million transactions per second, we can apply this wherever we deem there to be a requirement. So yeah, great question. The Solana soft node is something we're working
on. Yeah, that was the only updated question there now. Everything else nice. AMA. Will TET be a layer 1 as Sol and FTM but faster after SDK? How do you interpret that? Yes. Will TET be a layer 1?
I presume that gentleman is a newer member of our community, but that's the exact intention. Although we built a layer 2 system on top of the Tectum blockchain actually came first. And the intention of the soft node was, of course, to get mass adoption for Bitcoin, but also to enable more developers to come onto our layer 1 and build out this large ecosystem whereby cross-border remittance companies, data companies, medical companies, and anybody who has an interest in storing decentralized and immutable data on-chain could actually facilitate that. So absolutely, we run the fastest layer 1 in the world, and we believe it can become the most interoperable and scalable. But the Bitcoin scaling solution, soft node, sits on top of that layer 1.
Yeah, and that's really exciting whenever you say that, because it's amazing that I believe we have the best flagship product in all of crypto, making crypto mass adoption possible where it's never been before. But then Russell adds to that with the fact that we're going to have other projects building on our platform. That's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And one of the reasons why I believe the soft node is so scalable is we built the blockchain the right way from the ground up. And a lot of blockchains, at least as we see it, as they've approached scaling information and storing information have the complete wrong block structure. And anybody who's read about our HashDrive technology will know that there isn't an EVM chain, there isn't the Ross chain out there that employs the same type of structure. And we believe that layer ones will move over to it when they see how easy it is to scale utilizing HashDrive technology. But with that HashDrive technology, we've been able to build this scaling solution that's the fastest and ensuring Bitcoin still has all the level of security and trustlessness that the original layer one for Bitcoin has.
I thought the gentleman who asked a question was actually making a comment about Solana, because Solana has been so hot in the market, as we know. But I like to look at these projects, each of them, Solana, XRP, these are the top ones. Dogecoin, which is a meme coin, right? Avalanche, Tron, the Tron network. I spoke a lot about the Tron network in the past because of its ability to make crypto faster. I mean, you can send USDT almost instantly through Tron, and it's like a $1 fee versus like a $20 fee when you send it through Ethereum. And so what happened with Tron? It exploded into a 10 plus, I mean, currently $10+ billion market cap. I know it's been a lot higher than that, but I want you guys to think about what are the possibilities. I mean, we can't, this is not, obviously, I'm going to say this as I've said many times, we don't give financial advice. I mean, that's not why we're here, but I want you guys to do the math. We have a token supply of just 10 million tokens, a very small supply. We're at just a $60+ million market cap right now, right? Which means we have about 7.5 million tokens in circulation. So think about this. What are the possibilities? Has Tron ever allowed Bitcoin to be free and instant? Any crypto to be free and instant? They made USDT cheaper, faster, but did they make it free and instant? That's what we're doing here. It's revolutionary. I call it the soft note revolution. And it's really up to the community to get it out there. You guys have got to get into your back offices and start minting soft notes, putting liquidity into soft notes. And that's the best way to spread the word. I mean, your next door neighbor probably doesn't even have a Bitcoin account, doesn't have to move through the exchange. You can take a soft note to your next door neighbor and say, hey, you've heard of Bitcoin, haven't you? Check this out. This is Bitcoin, and hand them a soft note. That's never been done in the history of cryptocurrency. You guys can do that right now as we speak. And we're going to make it easier and easier and better as we go. The coming months are incredibly exciting when this market really comes back, because right now we're just pulling back. If I look at a monthly chart, we've just pulled back a little bit. When this market starts going bullish again, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, great point. And then a lot of alts, they're having sort of the last bit of volatility at the moment there. So we're no different really than them at the moment. All right, next question from AK. Can Tectum's workforce handle both the SDK commitments and assisting 3 protocol? Yeah, great question. So 3 protocol is self-sufficient at the minute. It's running under its own steam. Because it was our first incubation project, we did have to help with the infrastructure. We had to set the precedent for an incubation project there, so there was some commitment towards that, and we did cross with helping on the marketing side and getting them off. But since their launch there, they've pretty much been self-sufficient there. They've been jumping on AMAs, they've been doing their own developments, and we do touch in with them there once a week as a general meeting there to see how things are going, how we can help, and how they can help us. But yeah, they're self-sufficient right now, so all energy is going to be focused on ourselves, and it was very minimum that was going towards them anyway. So yeah, I hope that answers AK. Any other questions? Money to invest. Yeah, that's basically all the questions at the moment there, and yeah, very bizarre. So we can see David all right, and behind the scene we're trying to figure out what his technical issue is, but I'm just not sure what we can do from here. Yeah, David's there, all right, but we just can't. He can't accept.